What's going on YouTube? Today, I'm going to be showing you guys 3 dumbbell workouts that you should be doing if you want to add some thickness to your chest. Yeah, I'm talking about adding size to your chest. So these 3 exercises, you probably already know them, you've probably seen them around, but you're probably not doing them enough. So I'm going to explain how to perform each one of them. I'm going to give you guys some tips for activating your chest muscles while doing workouts like these ones. I'm also going to be including a full workout that you can do for your chest to add size and thickness. If you're interested in adding mass to your chest muscles, then you should probably stick around for this video right here. Okay, let's not waste any more time and let's get right to work, y'all. Let's do this. The first exercise is the chest press. This is one of the most common exercises you'll see people perform, especially when trying to build size in the pecs. The chest press is an exercise in which a lifter pushes a weight upwards while laying down. It mainly recruits the pectorals or chest muscle, as well as the anterior deltoids or front shoulders and the triceps. This exercise can be performed using the bench for the best possible results. But if you do not have access to a bench, you can always use the floor as your surface to lay on. Keep in mind that doing it on the floor restricts the range of motion of this exercise. It's always better to use a bench if you have one. The chest press is a simple exercise to perform. An individual performing the exercise lies on their back on a bench or the floor with dumbbells grasped in both hands. The dumbbells are pushed upwards until both elbows are locked out and then lowered to chest level or below. Repeat this for a set amount of repetitions, and that counts as one set of the exercise. The second exercise is the hex press. This is a variation of the chest press. With this, you have to keep the dumbbells in contact throughout the movement. Just like any other pressing exercise, the primary muscle worked is the pectorals or chest, but in comparison to the chest press we just talked about, this helps sculpt your inner chest for better aesthetics. I'm not saying you can target your inner chest, but it helps you in crafting around your inner chest. The reason for this is a constant use of an inward force with both arms to keep the dumbbells in contact. It also recruits the triceps a lot more than the conventional chest press does. To perform the hex press, I recommend starting with a lighter weight load that you can control easily until you master the form correctly. An individual performing the exercise lies on their back on a bench or the floor with dumbbells grasped with a hammer grip in contact with each other. The dumbbells are pushed upwards until both elbows are locked out. At the top of each rep, squeeze both elbows inward to flex your inner chest area. Lower the dumbbells so the top head touches your lower chest. Make sure both elbows remain tucked to your sides at the bottom of each repetition. Repeat this for a set amount of reps, and that counts as one set of the exercise. The third exercise is the chest fly. This exercise doubles as a great exercise for building chest width as well. It mainly works the pectorals or chest muscles by having you move your arms horizontally forward. In the starting position of this exercise, the hands are extended further than the elbows. The biceps may also play a small role in extending the arms outward. The straighter the elbow is, the more stretch you get in the biceps. For safety, you want to avoid locking out your elbows. To perform the chest fly, make sure you're working with weights that are relatively light in comparison to the last 2 exercises. An individual lies on their back on a bench or the floor with both arms extended and parallel to the ground. Make sure there's a slight bend in both elbows and maintain that bend throughout the lift. Lift the dumbbells through an arc until they meet at the center, and then the arms are lowered through the same arc until they're parallel with the ground again, and that counts for 1 rep of this exercise. Repeat this sequence again to complete more repetitions. In order to make sure you're building size in all sections of your chest, you need to make sure you're including 2 important variations of each of these exercises. The first of these variations requires completing each of these exercises in an incline position. You want to set the bench to 15 to 30 degrees on an incline. If you don't have access to a bench, you can use something like a couch or a Bosu ball to create some incline. You might find that these aren't as comfortable as a bench, but they definitely get the job done. Using an incline instead of a flat position allows you to move the concentration of your chest exercises to your upper pecs. This can be done for the chest press, the hex press, and the chest fly. The second variation you need to use requires all 3 exercises to be performed in a decline position. For the decline position, the bench is set to 15 to 30 degrees on a decline. If you don't have access to a bench, then you can always elevate your lower body to create a decline, or you can use a couch to create even more of a decline for better chest activation or a Bosu ball to support your lower back so you don't recruit as much of your glutes and your hamstrings. This angle places your upper body on a downward slope, which activates the lower pectoral muscles as you push weights away from your body. When used as part of a complete chest routine, decline chest exercises can help your pecs look more defined. This variation can be done for the chest press, the hex press, and the chest fly as well. Alternating between flat, incline, and decline for each of these exercises is extremely important if you plan on building thick and well-defined chest muscles. Try switching variations every 2 to 4 weeks, or if you feel like you're lacking in one section of your chest. Use the decline variation more to build out your lower chest. Use the incline position more to build your upper chest, and use the flat position for a more general approach to building your chest. If you're having issues activating your pectorals or chest muscles during exercises like the ones I've talked about, here are some tips to try out. Tip number 1. Make sure you're pushing the dumbbells with power generated from your chest region as opposed to pushing using power from your arms and elbows alone. You should also elevate your upper back slightly throughout the movements to keep your pecs involved all the way. Tip number 2. Use negatives to keep tension in your chest for a longer period of time. To complete negatives of any exercise, you have to lower the dumbbells slowly during the eccentric part of the exercise. Lower slowly until you can't anymore and repeat the process throughout. Using negatives is also great if you only have access to lower weight loads that you have already surpassed. It does well to add a new level of challenge to any exercise. Tip number 3. Use bands to add more resistance and train your balance. Using bands alone to train large muscle groups like the chest might not be the best option if you're aiming to build size. One way to include them in your quest for massive pectorals is to attach one or more to your weights, and in this case, your dumbbells. You then proceed to push the weights with the added resistance, which in turn will lead to more chest activation. This can be done for all 3 exercises. Tip number 4. Use paused repetitions. This final tip is similar to the second tip in that tension is maintained in your chest muscles longer. For paused reps, all you have to do is hold the dumbbell at the top of each rep for at least 3 seconds before bringing them back to the starting position again. Paused reps add a whole new level of challenge to your chest exercises and will definitely help in activating your pecs. Make sure you add the chest press, the hex press, and the chest fly to your chest day training routines if you want to add thickness and size. Do not forget to use the incline and decline variations alternatively to keep adding mass to all sections of your chest for well-defined pectorals. For exercises that aid in adding size, you also want to make sure you're training progressively. Training progressively means you start at a weight load that's relatively easy for you to push, and then you add to this over time to increase the resistance and prevent your muscles from getting adapted to one weight load. Other ways you can train progressively is by increasing the rep range and frequency of any exercise. Lastly, the tips for chest activation should not be ignored. Make sure you're using your chest to provide power for every push. Use negatives if you're having trouble feeling your chest do the work. Use bands to increase the resistance of the exercises as well as improve your balance. And finally, use paused reps as much as possible, especially if the maximum dumbbell weight load you have has now become easy to push. To wrap up, here's a chest workout routine you can try to get you started. You can always add more exercises to this routine if you feel the need to, or swap out the last exercise for something else you like, but make sure you're not switching out the first 3 exercises if you're aiming for growth in your chest size. Instead, alternate between the incline, decline, and flat variations to keep things from getting boring. Before you begin the workout, make sure to get a 5 to 10 minute warm up in. First workout here requires that you set the bench into an incline, so set it to between 15 to 30 degrees on an incline, and then perform the incline hex press. 4 sets, 8 to 12 repetitions. Complete 8 reps if you're working with heavier weight loads, which is more preferred. If you're working with lighter weight loads, then complete about 12 reps instead, or more. Next up, you want to move the bench in the opposite direction, so set it into a decline position, about 15 to 30 degrees, or use a couch. Use one of the other methods I talked about. So for this, complete another 4 sets and about 8 to 12 reps. Just like the last one, 8 reps if you have heavy weights you're working with, and 12 reps if you're only working with light weights. Do not forget to use the tips I mentioned earlier, things like paused reps, banded workouts, as well as negatives. Now we're done hitting our top and lower section of our chest using inclines and declines. We're going to complete some chest flies in a flat position. So this one's great for getting that width as well as getting that squeeze in. So it helps you in building size just like the other ones. If you're feeling it in your biceps a lot more than in your chest, then you're certainly going too far back. We didn't talk about this final one right here because this is a body weight workout. It does recruit your triceps heavily, just like the hex press does as well. You can also replace this for any other workouts that you like, or add more exercises to this entire routine to make it something that you prefer. Set your knees on the ground if you find this difficult to do. That's all I've got for you guys in this video. I hope you have learned something that will aid in your quest for larger, thicker, and well-defined pectorals. Do not forget to send some likes my way by clicking the thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're new to the channel for more great fitness content. Click the gold bell icon as well to be notified of new videos. And I will catch you all in my next one. It's Midas, and I'm out.